This is part 2 of a two-part series on setting up the Clockwork software SharePoint migration tool. In part 1 you saw the general SharePoint and database setup. Now we want to look at how to migrate sets of documents. Each set of documents requires its own parameter set, including an SQL view collating the selected documents. The sample shown here, vCSW test, is very simple, filtering just on the document number. In reality, you'll more likely filter on users, various metadata, even security. But whatever filtering you do, these are the required output fields. And while my example hard codes the site and other names, you can calculate these and have your SQL return documents going to various sites. So next we need to look at a parameter set. You can create these with the migration tool with options to copy them. A sensible name is good, as it will help identify your migration run in the logs. Here's our view. Notice we can override the site details specified in the SQL. This is really useful for testing. The SharePoint document name field has restrictions on its length, illegal characters, and also needs to be unique as it is part of the URL. So we have three options. Use the document number, append the document number to the title, shortening it as needed, or if your ECMS has unique titles, and some do, only if it needs to be shortened would we add the document number when uniqueness is compromised. Often you'll find the title and description or abstract field can be combined and still be shorter than the allowed length of the SharePoint title field, hence this option. And usually you'll want all versions, but sometimes you might only want the latest version migrated. Generally you'll probably be trying to use the library security only. But if you do want custom security, you can either add more users or groups to a document, or replace the library security with the specified security. And here we specify the managed metadata service and group to source our term sets. The database parameters are just pointers to what we've set up in the first video. Connection string to our migration database, names of views, and the key linking field across the views. Also, you may remember from the first video that the process for updating the old ECMS database is set up in its own updated database. This is because you might be using a copy of the live database, but you want the live ECMS database to be updated. Hence you can have the updated database sitting off with the live ECMS database while you are working with a copy. So we have our own connection string for it. The general application settings are in three areas. The file store root appends to the document path returned in the SQL. The placeholder path is where to find the placeholder files which are used when a file in the file store appears to be missing or inaccessible. If you have a test lab on its own domain, the ECMS table of users will refer to the live domain, but the tool will be able to make the appropriate substitution. If a user from your ECMS does not exist in Active Directory, e.g. they left years ago, then the alternate user will be used instead. When testing, it is really useful to limit the number of documents migrated at a time. The parameters are saved in an XML file in the same folder as the application. Here's the parameter set we've just been looking at. If you want to get fancy, you could manage the parameters with your favourite XML tool. Okay, so now we've seen how to set up for a migration. In the next video, we'll look at using the tool for a migration and how to get the most out of it.